5 seconds of horror with Dr. Darceling. Before I delivered the killing blow, the creature said one last word.
No, Daddy!
The most terrifying things caught on security cam you should definitely not watch at night. This right here is a baby that stands up. Watch the noise that he makes. Oh my gosh, that is so creepy. I have no idea what's going on there. Here, you're gonna see this like invisible see-through thing pop up on the security cam, and then it just fades away. Like, what is?
Look what we found.
Have you guys ever seen what a Bratz doll looks like without all the makeup on them?
So back in 2017, there was this little girl who had a Bratz doll, and one day she got it really dirty, covered in mud, just covered in all kinds of stuff. And so her father was like, oh, I can clean it. So for some reason, he took paint thinner to try and clean her Bratz doll, but instead of cleaning it, it wiped off the entire face of this Bratz doll. And are you ready to see what it looks like?
Oh my gosh, he tried to replace her eyes with magazine cutout eyes to make up for it. People are literally saying this image is cursed.
I don't think I'll ever be able to look at a Bratz doll the same after seeing this. I just had to show you guys, I'm sorry.
And tonight on Serial Killer TikTok, I realized that it's been a long time since the facts from my first serial killer TikTok video, so I'm gonna do those again. Do you know Jeffrey Dahmer had so many bodies in his apartment that he stored one in his bathtub and would shower standing over it? John Wayne Gacy had so many bodies stuffed underneath his house that they melted together. It took them over 2 years just to sort the bodies and put them back together. Also, just one thing that I want to add real quick to the end of this video. Serial killer TikTok followers are scary good at what they do. Y'all found a man's name, address, police blotter reports, family members' addresses and phone numbers, all from a piece of paper that he left on my door. Y'all are good. Thank you.
Urban legends from every state. The legend of Skinned Tom, located at Lover's Lane near Wallen, Tennessee. Here's the story. Back in the 20s, a young man named Tom decided to take his love interest to Lover's Lane, but she failed to mention that she was married. The angry husband found out and decided to track them down. He then murdered his wife and skinned young Tom alive. It is now said that his bloody ghost hangs around the area, carrying a knife to punish all who play games with adultery. Which state is next?
Imagine working in a cemetery. You get home from work every day and find your dog's muddy paws. Not only that, there's human footprints, but they're not yours. Well, in a small town in Utah, a caretaker's logbook recorded exactly that. See, the disappearance of Bob Walker couldn't have been more mysterious. The guy had been the caretaker of the local cemetery for more than 50 years. But one day, just vanished. While searching his home, police found a journal which had some very creepy weird things in it. See, every few weeks, Bob had logged in his journal that his dog had left muddy paws through the house. See, his dog loved playing and digging in the cemetery. But the scary part is it wasn't just paw prints. They were accompanied by many different bare footprints. And from what the journal said, they were different sizes and shapes. Now, it was baffling to say the least, and to this day, no one knows what happened to Bob Walker or the 12 missing bodies from that graveyard.
Hey spooky friends, yeah, let's talk about the Witch of Yazoo. So it's Mississippi, the year is 1884. The day is May 25th. This is important. A bunch of fishermen have been going missing from the river. A woman in the town is suspected of torturing them and killing them. So the sheriff goes to her property, opens up her shed, and boom, skeletons. She ran away and was stuck in the swamp. See, this is where I was led to believe that quicksand would be a bigger problem in my life, but it actually took hers. And as she slowly submerged into the quicksand, she uttered a curse that she would return in 20 years and burn the village to the ground. She's then buried in Glenwood Cemetery, and they place a chain around her grave to keep her spirit from escaping. 20 years goes by, and the chain is found broken one day. Just so happens to be May 25th, 1904, when the entire village burns to the ground. Witnesses said that it might have been a kitchen fire, but that flames were jumping through the air supernaturally.
Got you, motherfucker. Baby. Get the fuck in here. Hands up.
It's been 10 years. You start to forget the things you should remember. And you can't stop remembering the things you should forget. We've always had the power. Not anymore. All we have is each other.
Did you know that gummy bears actually have a really dark history?
So, gummy bears were invented in the early 1900s, and they were originally called dancing bears.
Now, in Europe following World War I, dancing bears were quite the attraction.
And people didn't see anything wrong with this, which I find crazy.
The bears would often be chained, made to wear silly clothing, and usually their teeth would have been completely removed so that they were considered safe for the public.
These bears were a very popular attraction at fairs and carnivals in most European cities. And this is literally what gummy bears were based off of. I had no idea they had such a dark history. And obviously later on they changed it from dancing bears to gummy bears, which is a lot better. And they're definitely not associated with that anymore, but it's definitely sad to know the history.
This is not what you want to happen to you when you get home from work. Not too long ago, a young woman returns home after a long and draining night at her work. She opens the front door and steps into the pitch black. She reaches across to flick on the light, but as she does, she feels somebody else's hand already there. Without thinking, she feels around and can tell the hands holding the light in the off position. She gasps, jumps back and slams the front door. She quickly calls the police, and when they arrive, they search the house, but nobody's there. But what's scary is this happens for the next 3 nights, and police continue to turn up and find nobody. But on the 4th night, the same thing happens. She jumps back out the front door and calls police again, but this time they refuse to come, and she's forced to enter her own house. Using the torch on her phone, she enters and sees a man standing there. In a deep voice, he says, "Come in, sweetie. We both know no one's coming to save you."
Scariest things caught on camera, part 7. In the video you guys are about to watch, you're going to see a couple friends going through an abandoned building. It's pretty obvious that this building was abandoned and they shouldn't have been in it, but what they found next was pretty horrifying. I personally don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's real or not, so let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And if you like these types of videos, be sure to like and follow me.
Where'd the other guys go?
a banned episode of Peppa Pig.
This episode was called Mr. Skinny Legs and it came out in 2004. And depending on where you live, it was taken off the air immediately.
This episode was supposed to teach its young viewers that while spiders may look scary, they can't really hurt you. At the beginning, Peppa is afraid of the spider, but by the end of the episode, she befriends the spider and invites him as a guest to her tea party.
Now, I think the moral of this story is pretty great, but apparently people in Australia did not agree.
Australia is home to some of the most venomous spiders in the world, like the redback spider, whose bites are intensely painful and have historically been linked with deaths.
So this episode was unfortunately banned in Australia because they did not want kids trying to befriend spiders.
These are the strangest things that have ever been caught on camera, part 2. This footage from a security camera in Alaska shows what appears to be a real-life Men in Black agent talking to the store's receptionist. Unfortunately, there isn't any audio in this clip, but what the man appears to say to the woman alarms her as she reaches into her drawer, pulls out a gun, and aims it at the man. But all the man does in response is remain calm, lift his hand in the air, tilt it, and then put it right back down on the desk. This seemed to put the woman in some sort of a trance as she put the gun down and gave him a mysterious package. This next video shows a woman shopping in China when an item behind her mysteriously falls down. She then proceeds to pick it up and put it back onto the shelf. Immediately after doing this, she begins to act very strangely, as if she was being possessed. She then falls to the ground and proceeds to freak out as if she was in severe pain. As the other shoppers in the store try to help the woman, she lets out a ghostly scream which causes the camera to flicker and items to shake. Many people believe that this lady was possessed.
This world is filled with supernatural entities of all kinds, both light and dark. Most people associate the light entities with good and the dark entities with evil. But is that really true? Is it really that black and white? Let's take a look at 5 lies about dark entities. No, not all dark entities are evil. Keep in mind, I'm also not saying that they're all good. I'm just saying not all of them are bad. I get this question a lot when I give presentations on shadow people, and what I end up telling people is that shadow people are a lot like humans. Some humans are good, some humans are bad. Some shadow people are good, some shadow people are bad. I know that may sound simplistic, but we're just getting down to the root of the matter.